Editing Lindsay here, jumping in before the start of the podcast to say hi. My name is Lindsay. This is One Cat Crafting. I've created this YouTube channel in an effort to meet a few crafters that I can communicate with on a regular basis through social media. My efforts to organize crafting groups in both my town where I live and the town where I work have failed miserably. So my next great idea to be a little bit more social was YouTube. The podcast today is a little bit out of sorts for me. I think I'm talking more quickly than I normally talk, and I don't have many things to show you without putting up a photo. My father-in-law was very, very recently diagnosed with cancer and is currently in surgery, so I'm not well rested, a little bit stressed out, and trying to do things to distract myself because I can't be at the hospital in the waiting room for him today because of visitor capacity limits. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this sort of mid-month update, and I'll see you for a longer, more put-together podcast in a couple of weeks.
Hello, today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. The schedule that I had been planning on trying to keep myself to of one video a month isn't working. I have too many acquisitions coming in right now to keep track of them all between videos, and I feel like a bi-weekly schedule will be better for me and easier for me. So I'm going to start a bi-weekly schedule with this video. I will do one check-in a month and one end-of-month wrap-up. The last time that I filmed was January 28th. I only had a few days left in January. Didn't think that I would get much crafting done. Didn't think that anything too interesting would happen. So I filmed a little bit early, and I'm not going to do that again. I did get a little bit more crafting done since the last time we spoke, so I'm just referring, my craft journal is just in front of me. I'm just referring to my planner from January. Of course, we unfortunately lost Catherine O'Hara. She is a favorite actress of mine. So in my journal, I just did a little tiny section for Catherine O'Hara, filled up the rest of the room that I had set aside for January. Craft-wise, after my last January 28th podcast, I put another 769 stitches into the Scary Sampler redesign that I'm working on. I'll pop a picture up on the screen of where it was when I last put it down. And it is well over 10% now, and I've rotated it out after a couple of small stitching sessions in February. So this is the total of my book of days situation that I'm doing for cross stitching for January. Month total for cross stitches was 5,272, which is a good month for me. I put 1,936 stitches on Moonshine, which was a finished object for me. I put 1,784 on Masquerade, which remains a whip for me. And I put 1,552 into the Scary Sampler redesign, which was a new start for me. So February to date, I put a little bit of stitches, like I mentioned, in the Scary Sampler redesign before I tucked that one away. And I do have a new start. So I'll just show you my February book of days as it looks so far. I keep calling it a book of days. I had previously used the book of days calendar booklet to keep track of my stitching, and I found that it's just another booklet only for one purpose. So what I've done is printed off a monthly calendar, and I'm color coding my cross stitches in it as a way of marking down how many stitches I get per day. I don't have a better thing to call it besides book of days. So until I come up with that, that's what I've been saying. I put in two separate stitching sessions 434 stitches and then 42 stitches into the Scary Sampler redesign. I have a new start. It's a pattern that a friend has charted, not using any AI, and I'm not sure that she would love the finished image all over. There's my tiny little YouTube channel on social media. So I'm going to keep it off social media. It is a cemetery scene, which If you know me, hi, my favorite thing. I started that. It will be a full coverage cross stitch when finished. I started it on Wednesday the 4th with 176 stitches, and the last time I worked on it was last night for 169 stitches. I'll pop a little photo up of where it was. It's just a teeny tiny little start in the one corner, filling in some shading for trees. For the rest of my February setup, this is what my journal looks like so far. At the top section, I have craft and personal goals for the month. I have a list of books that I would like to read, a list of books that I would like to acquire. I've charted the first book that I finished reading for the month, and then my ongoing list of acquisitions. If you're new here, I don't normally have a ton of acquisitions. I had some Christmas money come in, and I record my acquisitions as I've received them, not as I have ordered them. So as those trickle in, I'll have some acquisitions. I have been laughing at this meme for a solid 3 weeks. Mother I am but skin and bones. And he's obviously not. My personal and crafting goals for the month were to finish the unripe fig muscle burrow hat that I started, to get some seeds started for my garden, to make some progress on a currently stagnant ripple bralette, which happens to be using elder stash. I'll pop the particulars in of the Elder Stash Mal. It's being hosted by Jen of the Stash Down Diaries, and the objective is to use the older yarn in your stash. Again, for anybody who's new here, I have been knitting for probably 30 plus years. I left or lost most of my stash when I left my last relationship. So my newest to me stash is from 2017 and 2018. And those are the 2 years that I will be pulling from for the Elder Stash Mal. The Ripple Bralette was cast on some time ago. It just happens to be out of some of my oldest yarn. So that now qualifies for that make along. My next goal for February was to find a professional photo framer in either my area where I'm living or the town where I'm working to frame the cross-stitch sampler that I stitched for my grandmother. I'll pop a photo of that on the screen. I also wanted to put some work in on Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut. I have a whip that's sort of languishing. I have a goal set for it for the year. I believe it's to get to 75%. Let me just find that in my book. Yeah, my goal for that for the year is to get it to 75%. That will require a ton of work, and I seem to be avoiding it. I'm not sure why. But if I don't put some stitches in every month, I'm never going to get there. I also wanted to finish the Fourth Wing trilogy. I'm currently listening to that trilogy. I am in the early stages of the third book, and it's losing my attention. February is historically not a fantastic month for me. Mental health, seasonal depression. We've had a ton of snowstorms. Commuting to work has been not fantastic on the days that I go into the office. My listening has dropped significantly since the Olympics have started. I've been sort of having those on as noise and TV instead of listening to my book. Another goal for the month is to finish my Woolens and Nosh 2025 Advent socks. Mentioned in prior video, I'm having a hard time knitting on those. I feel like the wool is more dense than the average fingering weight yarn that I knit with. I'm going to try and move them from 2 at a time, just back to normal 1 at a time, and see if that helps my hands at all. I have another goal of trying to arrange a craft meetup again in my area. We moved in August, and I've tried several times to host a craft meetup, and a ton of people commit to attending and nobody actually shows up, which was the reason for me starting this YouTube channel, trying to find some people to interact with online and have a little circle of people who do multiple crafts like I do. I wanted to print the cross-stitch pattern images for potential starts. I have a system that I'll show you at another time where I print off the cover photo and put it in like a zipper pouch, a plastic zipper pouch. And as I get materials, I'll file the floss or the fabric away, and then they go into a separate bin of projects that are kitted up and ready to start. I either choose what I want to work on, or I spin a wheel when it's time for me to have a new start and decide that way. I wanted to kit up the cemetery scene, which I'm currently stitching, so that goal has already been met. And I also wanted to do another wildlife volunteer transport. I used to do these along with my husband fairly regularly before we moved. And now that we've moved, there seems to be less of a demand for that in the area that we live. The town that I work in still has quite a demand. But because of my altered path home, the rehab clinic is sort of northwest and my home is east. So I've already met that goal. We transported a fox that seems to have fairly severe mange and eye infections bilaterally from the location where he was trapped by some concerned residents to a transfer point for him to go to the rehab center. So I will insert a photo of him in a couple of seconds here. He will be okay. He doesn't look so fantastic. So if that's something that will upset you, just close your eyes for a few seconds now. And I'll just flash that image up quickly on the screen. I will add another image in my next podcast of him having been rehabilitated, and either us or a different wildlife volunteer will release him back to the area where he was found. I've mentioned my to be read list, and books added to my wish list for this month are Salt to the Sea, The Song of Achilles, which I have already acquired through, I think it's called Chirp. It's an audiobook app that is, depending on the book that you're looking for, they have less availability than Audible, but sometimes their prices are lower. So I've acquired that through Chirp because that was the cheapest place. Daggermouth and Infernal Devices, which was listed. I saw that one originally advertised on Chirp. If it's still on sale, I'll pick that one up today. I finished listening to Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros on Audible earlier this month. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Like I mentioned, I'm working my way through that trilogy. And my acquisitions so far for the month are, I'll flash photos up on the screen, a Hubman and Chub Girl journal sticker set. They have locations in Toronto, which is local-ish to me, and also I think in Texas, somewhere in the States. So I was happy to support a business with a local, at least, distribution company. I think they are based out of Toronto. And I'll show some of the photos that I am using in my planner. I had an order of stickers come in from Scotia Papers Sticker Company, another sticker order from Cozy Book Sleeve stickers, and a stamp punch, which is a whole new can of worms that has started. I saw a post on Instagram with people using essentially a 1-inch punch-shaped stamp and punching out little things that they come across in their day-to-day lives, like a cute drawing on an egg carton. And for whatever reason, this has scratched an itch that I didn't know my brain had. So here's my stamp, and it punches out postage stamp size and shape little thingies. A lot of the people I found on Instagram are doing a stamp a day. I've gone a little bit ham, and I'm already up to the 15th of February. So I'll show you my stamps. For March, I intend it to be more of sort of packaging that I come across on the day. My banana was part of the packaging for one of my Hubman and Chub Girl sticker sheet orders. This image was from a Costco advertisement. It was the display picture on a television they had for sale. Some packaging from a cross-stitch order that I received some time ago and had been saving it on my desk for just such an occasion. Another TV screen from a Costco flyer. 2 more images from my Hubman and Chub Girl sticker order. The kisses from a bag of Hershey's Kisses that I may or may not have binge eaten yesterday. I have an oak tree from an advertisement from a dental company that's local to my new hometown. I have the Mad Hatter from Mad for Minders, Needle Minders business card in the last order I received from them. This is an image from a Knit Picks advertisement that I received in the mail recently. Another Costco television screen. This is an image from a back issue of the Litigator magazine that I had at work. This is an image from the thank you note that I received with my Scotia Paper sticker order. I think this is another Costco TV. And we ordered Swiss chalet tonight because I can no longer function like an adult and make dinner. So that is the little chicken from the paper bag that held our Swiss chalet order. I love this. Everything I look at now, I'm like, can I turn that into a sticker? I don't know. Like I mentioned, we have recently started the Olympics. I've been watching the Olympics mostly passively. So I've got a little printout in my book for the projects that I can accomplish, or at least try to accomplish, during the Ravelinic Games. We have a leucistic axolotl as well, which is what this sticker is. Her name is Lou. And one of my Hubman and Chub Girl orders was for a sheet of axolotl stickers, so I've tucked that in there. And this is the book that I'm currently listening to, Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. And I mentioned I'm struggling a little bit, but I really don't think it's the book's fault. I think it's just the headspace that I'm in right now. I will show you quickly my unripe fig muscle burrow, since it happens to be right beside me. The progress marker is what I had done before the Olympics started, or the Ravelinics, whichever. And this is the progress that I got Saturday, Sunday, and a teeny tiny bit on Monday while I was watching the Olympics. This is Elder Stash, which qualifies for the Elder Stash Mal, again hosted by Jen of the Stash Down Diaries. It is called Unripe Fig by Hout Knit Yarn. It is an 80/20 BFL fingering weight that I acquired, I believe, in 2017. And it's just languished in my stash. I mentioned in my last episode that I had finished the Moonshine Cabin, and I don't want to keep the final object. 2023 Lindsay thought that she would display it in her home, and 2026 Lindsay only wants cemeteries and creepy things. So this has been adopted by somebody on Instagram. They are an Ontarian as well, so I'll pop that out in the mail to them. I'm just going to give you a slow roll of the finished product. I stitched it on a sparkly linen base, so I've omitted the stitched snowflakes, and I omitted the shadows of the moon so that it's just a crescent moon phase instead of sort of a shadowy full moon. It's a lovely pattern. I don't really want it hanging in my home anymore. People's tastes change. I have been into cemeteries and creepy things for years, since I was a child basically, and I'm in my early 40s now, so it's not that I've just suddenly dropped something that I might again one day enjoy. Anyway, I don't need to justify it. I don't want to hang it up, and I would rather it go to someone that loves it than it sit in a box or a bag for years and years. I have a little stockpile of extra stamps on my desk from the Scotia Papers order.
Playing from Lindsay's.
There's my Alexa that I recently received. Oop, I'm never going to get used to this camera being on the other side. So just a couple of little plants that I've punched off of their thank you note that I received. And I'll save those for a day when I don't come across anything else to put into my craft journal. And I think that's it for a quick touch base, middle of February almost kind of situation. If you are in any of the areas that have just been getting battered by winter storms recently, stay safe, drive safe, slow down. I hope everybody is doing as well as possible, and if you are a fan of the Olympics, that you're getting a little bit of downtime to watch those. I will see you in a couple of weeks for my end of February wrap up. Hopefully I will have accomplished most, if not all, of my goals for the month, and we'll have some little tiny baby seeds started for spring, which I know is going to come eventually. I'm going to insert a little bit of a B-roll of me caking up some yarn for a project that I am planning on starting potentially next month. I'll pop all the details of the pattern and the yarn on the screen, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.